I'm Jason Stanton. I serve First Lutheran in Onalaska, and this is my morning musing for Wednesday, August 26th. As I stand here, I see a lot of cars going. We live like in a cul-de-sac, and it doesn't go anywhere. Obviously, it's a dead end, and a lot of cars going by because the house across the street's for sale. So if anybody wants to be my neighbor, there it is. Everybody driving by now sees that there's a crazy person in a collar talking to their phone in their backyard. So I think I'm kind of helping to sell this house. I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to ask for a commission for it. I'm just saying I think I'm helping. So anyway, wouldn't you want a neighbor that's just talking into a phone randomly at whatever time it is right now and recording who knows what? So I am thinking about, many of you also follow my Bible readers posts, but for those of you who don't, we're entering into the book of Leviticus, which was not, as I looked at, reading the Bible straight through for a year, it is not the book I was looking forward to the most, put it that way. There's a lot of instructions for priests and how they shall make their offerings, their burnt offerings and such things. Then there's a holiness code, lots of holiness code. And that's pretty much what the book of Leviticus is. And, there's not a lot of plot. It's a lot of detail about things that as Christians we don't believe pertain to us, because we feel like Jesus has become the living sacrificial offering on our behalf. And so we don't have to concern ourselves with making sacrificial offerings anymore, because Jesus has done that for us, thank God. Anyway, as I'm reading through Leviticus, I was reminded of a metaphor in chapter 20. I believe it's verse 22. And it's talking about if Israel doesn't live up to this holiness code, when they fall short, there is the very real possibility that the land, the promised land, will vomit them out. And it made me think about how the earth, I'm reading this book called The World Without Us. What would the world be like without humans on it? How long would it take for oceans and fires and vegetation to overcome what humans have done? And it's made me think of new beginnings, fresh starts, do-overs. As if the people of Israel can't treat creation well, they'll get vomited out. When we as humans make poor choices about like where to build or how to build, a lot of times the earth kind of strikes back and kind of reclaims what it needs to reclaim to stay well. Other times, species do go extinct and awful things happen, but there is a sense that this relationship that we have with the earth has some do-over nature to it. That if you push something so far, there will be a time of starting again. It's how COVID-19 feels to me. Like, I've gotten to this point in my life where I've built a lot of habits and systems, and in my work, in my life as a parent, and now I'm having to start again, do-over. I feel like these do-overs happen for one of two reasons. Either there's been a catastrophe, like a cataclysmic event, a hurricane comes through and forces an island to completely rebuild, or fires in California sweep through and force everybody to completely rethink how they built things up. So there's those kinds of moments when you have to start over because catastrophe has happened. But there is another setting where starting over can happen, and that is in a relationship where forgiveness is present. In my experience, it's in a marriage where I forgot again, or I fell short again, or I didn't, whatever that thing is that you've kind of promised to do, and you haven't met that promise, and yet a promise was made that when you fall short, you'll forgive each other and try again. I'm not saying that's that marriage is the perfect example of this, as though it's an inexhaustible resource of try again. I mean, there are ways to completely break that covenant. But there is a sense that in healthy relationships, there's so much capacity for forgiveness that there's capacity for starting over. I like when there's capacity for starting over, because that means I can boldly try, even if that means I will ragingly fail. And I feel like that's what our relationship with God is meant to be like. It's where we're going to try our best to meet that holiness code, if you will, or as Christians, we're going to try our best to figure out how to advocate for those on the margins. We're going to try our best to figure out whether we should meet in person as confirmation small groups and how to do that. Whatever the choices are that we're trying to form faith, to grow community, to advocate, all the different pieces that church tries to be, I think we can try to be more boldly, knowing that if we mess it up, there's space to start over. And so for that, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for as we go into a new program year, and we've got some plans for what Sunday school is going to look like, and confirmation, and the Bible readers meeting virtually on Sunday mornings, and worship and how that's going to go, and trying to do a Sugar Creek event over a weekend where everybody's going to be masked and distanced and all. Like, we've got ideas. They might all be terrible ideas that fall flat on our face, but we're boldly moving forward, knowing that God and our brothers and sisters in Christ will offer forgiveness so that we can start over again if we need to.